Hi guys, my name is Morgan and I will be teaching you all how to make hand-drawn animated GIFs in Photoshop. Right on screen is an example that I made earlier today just to show you guys what it looks like in the final version. Really cute. So first step is to obviously open Photoshop and pick a dimension size. So I am going to go with 1080 by 1080. It is the dimensions for Instagram feed posts. You could either go with 1920 by 1080, which is your standard size for film and video, or you could do 1280 by 720, which is also a lower resolution standard for film and video. So I'm going to go with 1080 by 1080, and you can name your GIF whatever you want. I'm just going to go with animated GIF version 2. Alright, open that up. So your first step when you open your document and create your canvas is to go up into this little button over here. These are all of your different layouts. Most of you will be starting in Essentials, especially if this is your first time opening Photoshop. And you want to go down and use the motion layout. And this nice little timeline will pop up. Usually everyone starts on create video timeline, so you can actually bring in videos into Photoshop. However, I have only worked with that once or twice, and it can be kind of a pain in the neck. For the purposes of this video, you want to click on Create Frame Animation. Okay, next is, depending on if you want a background for your GIF or if you want it to be transparent, then you would obviously either drag in a background picture or just turn off your background layer, so just hide it if it wants to hide, it doesn't. Okay, so that's your start to your GIF. So you can, next up is to bring in other elements. So I will be bringing in a picture of DMD's logo in white. So a nice thing is that if you hold down Option when you are doing a free transform and you click and drag, without holding Option, it just drags it from the left corner or the far corner. But if you hold Option and you drag out, it'll drag it out from the middle, so you don't really have to change your position of your object after you're done resizing it. So click yes whenever you're ready. And then the next step is that you want to have a plan for your video, because you have to have everything in separate layers. So the first one that you guys saw, this first example over here, this one took, for me it took 30 minutes because I've done a lot of these in the past, but I had 13 different frames and each of them had at least 2 or 3 layers each. So it can get pretty messy and pretty complicated if you're not an organized Photoshopper, I guess. So for me, what I want to do is, my plan is to have it start blank and then wipe away the white and then add some blue, and that'll reveal the UConn, and then add some yellow to reveal the UConn again, and then add the navy blue at the end. And it's a pretty simple GIF, but I think it will definitely look very nice in the end. So, okay, first things first is that you want to name all of your different frames. So whenever it comes to these frame animations, you want to label things frame 1, frame 2. If you have multiple things for frame 1, I would do frame 1 logo, frame 1 color, whatever you want, as long as you have it based on your frame. So I'm going to do DMD logo, frame 3, because I don't want it to pop up actually, I need to do it later. I don't want it to pop up until later. So we're gonna just put placeholder frame 6. So this is gonna be frame 1. Frame 1 is going to be a nice little white cloud that comes in first. So for my brushes, I'm going to be using a brush with 100% hardness and around a little over 100, maybe like 125. Nice even round number. And then you want to just go and just start drawing. So here's the first frame. So when it comes to drawing these frame animations, you want to make sure that you kind of leave everything up so you don't hide any of your layers yet until you figure out where everything is located and how it moves. But when you do the frame animation, it'll even itself out, and you will hide it so that it doesn't show up in the end product. So here's frame 1, and then easy, very, very easy hotkey is Command J to copy a layer or to make a duplicate. So frame 2, so since this frame, so I hide frame, so this is frame 1 and this is frame 2. So frame 2 is the same for now, but right now we're just gonna have a nice little swoop over there, and then obviously copy, rename it, and I will probably speed this section up so it doesn't get super boring. Oh geez. Okay. Copy, rename, frame 4. Also, if you are on PC, the shortcut is Control J. Command J is for Macs only, because PC users do not have a command key. Frame 5. It gets tedious and it could take a while, so just keep going. So frame 6. Okay, and this will be the last one for the white section. Cool. Okay, next up we have to do our light blue. So we're gonna do just frame 7. And then we're gonna switch to light blue. And then we want to still see some of the white behind it, so I'm gonna layer it a little differently. So frame 7 is gonna be, actually I need to, so I wanna make sure that I still keep the white on there, so I wanna copy it again so that it looks layered at the end and you don't have to leave on different layers. You could just turn off all of them and just have one on at a time. So that looks really, let's try again. Smoothing, that's probably why. Okay, one more time. Push. Okay. Let's try again. It doesn't look very good right now. Oh, lowering the hardness a bit since that looks a little better. Okay, let's try. Okay, cool. And then obviously copy. Okay, so then we want to do frame 7 actually. So I was 1 frame off, pretty close. And then you want to copy both the frame and the logo. And then what I like to do is I like to put these two, so the ones that go for the same frame, I just put them in a folder and label it frame 7 so that you can keep all of your layers straight, and all you have to do when you want to hide them when we create our frame animation is just the eyeball button, and that's it. So next up we're going to frame 8, and again I'll probably just speed this process up so that y'all don't have to sit here and just be bored. can't tell you how important clearly naming all of your layers are. There have been many horror stories that I've heard that people who do not name their layers correctly and clearly, and they receive really bad ones, and it's just a mess. And it's always good to name your layers clearly, especially if you're handing off and collaborating with other people. Okay, so now we're going to add the yellow. So we're going to do a nice little swoop. And then I think I'm going to thicken it up a little bit. Obviously, so right now I'm actually using a tablet for this, which is helping me a lot. I definitely recommend using a tablet. I could not think of doing this with a mouse, especially all the hand-drawn things. And eventually you just keep taking your time. There's no rush in this. I know I said the first one I did was maybe half an hour, but I just wanted to throw a tester out there for you guys to see a good example of it. This one is more just have fun, take your time. There's no rush at all in this. So we're gonna do another little swoop of yellow. And then we're gonna do one more swoop, and then we're gonna add the navy in there. And then at that point, the navy's just gonna cover up all of it. And we'll turn off the backgrounds, the background colors, so they don't get too distracting. Okay, so now that we're done with the yellow, we are going to just copy the logo, throw these two in a group. So frame 16, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the yellow. So I'm actually going to hide all of these. So a nice handy trick, this is actually in a lot of software. If you click and drag down on certain things, like layers and things, it will just make all of them disappear. So okay, so we're going to do our navy blue now, frame 16. This is the UConn blue. So frame 16, we're going to do a thin scribble, so we're going to go for I went with a size 55 brush on 90 hardness, just because the super hard edge can get a little bumpy. So right now we're just going to scribble it in. Okay, so that's frame 16. We're going to copy or duplicate, and then group. So frame. Okay, that looks really good. I think I'm gonna add one more frame. Don't hate me guys, but we're gonna add one more frame. But again, it's up to you. If you're done already with yours, then, and you're just sitting here waiting for me, sorry. I'm just gonna do a couple more frames. We're gonna try and hit a nice even 20 frames. Okay, and then we're actually gonna do another layer behind it of the colors. I know we said we wanted to get rid of them, but we're gonna go even smaller with the brush. Nice 30, not 31, 30. So we're going to do the yellow and have it kind of go all crazy behind it. No, I don't want. We're going to go even smaller with the brush. So we're going to go all the way, so now that we're done with all of our frames, our nice 20 frames. We're gonna go all the way back down to frame 1. Okay, and now we're going to click Create Frame Animation. What this will do is this will store whatever layer you have visible into this keyframe all the way over here. You see that? And then there's also these really nice little buttons underneath where it says 0 seconds. So that means is that when we start to add more keyframes, there will be 0 seconds of a delay in between each keyframe. So the one that I made before over here, that one had 0.2 seconds of delay in between, and it gets you kind of like that choppy feel. I personally like 0.2 for delays, but you could do anywhere from 0.1 to 0.5, or you can even do no delay. So, but personally I would add the tiniest bit of delay just so you get that choppy GIF feel. So I'm going to do 0.2. So then the next step is, so we have frame 1. So this little button down here is, it just popped up, duplicate selected frames. Perfect. So you want to make a new frame, and then you want to turn off your frame 1 and see how it just disappeared. Okay, ready? Watch this right here. That disappeared, or this appeared, but when you click it off, it disappears. So then you click on frame 2, and then you can even play it right now if you really wanted to. See? Perfect. Looking good. So one thing about frame animations is that it matters when you key it and when you turn off your frames. Like that order of when you turn, like you change your frames and you key or you create your next frame matters a lot. So if you are the type of person who you don't want to forget to turn on a frame for the next frame, like you want to be proactive and turn on frame 2 while you're still clicked on frame 1, don't do that, because what that will do is that you'll turn it off and turn it on, and then you'll make frame 2 into frame 1, and we don't want that. So you want to have frame 1 selected on that first frame when you click Create Frame Animation, and then you go and you, in frame 2, when you create the next frame, that's when you turn off the previous frame and then you click and you make the next one visible. Okay, so now I'm just gonna fast forward through this. Pretty straightforward. Just go. Okay, so now we have all of our frames and keyframes created. So if you want to watch it, just press play. So for this, I might actually have to go back and change all of them to 0.1 seconds and see how that goes. I'll do that and I'll connect to you guys. Okay, handy trick. Handy tip is that if you want to change the same setting of multiple things, you just highlight all of them. Especially for the keyframe, and trying to go manually in each one and change the time delay is not fun. So I actually wanted to stick with the 0.2. I like it better because it's slower and you can kind of absorb the GIF creation. And then what I did with the last one is for that last frame to stay up a little longer, I like to do 0.5 seconds for that last one, just so they could see at the end, wow, it's UConn. And it stays up for like the tiniest bit longer than usual, like the smallest. Okay, so now we have to export this beautiful, beautiful animation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. So it's Save for web is kind of like I guess you could call it the dinosaur of saving out, but it's the only place that you can save things as a GIF. Everything else, it's like PNGs, and this is a lot better because it gives you a lot more options in here as well. So I think most of you would start on JPEG, but I would do a GIF because it allows you to export the transparency out, and you don't really want to change anything. I usually don't touch all of this. You can if you want to, if you know more details and more in-depth information about all of these. I usually don't touch this. If you want to make it smaller, you just hit this button, you go 50%, and it gives you half size. So you just, the canvas just shrunk. But I'm gonna do 100% to get that nice quality 1080 by 1080. And you want to make sure that your animation looping options are forever, because if you hit it once, it'll just do once and you have to loop it. You have to keep looping it on your own. So GIFs loop forever, and you don't have to keep telling them to play. If you want to preview it again, you just press play animation down here. You can stop it whenever you want and go back to the first frame. Yeah, okay, now we're gonna go with save. So I'm going to save it into my folder. You save it wherever you would like to on your computer. So just hit save. Saving right now. Okay, now we can go and preview it. There we go. Okay, takes a little bit sometimes, but there you go. You have your animated GIF. I hope you guys had fun with me today. There'll be more Adobe tutorials on their way. Maybe I'll see you guys again or talk to you guys again and teach you more things. But for now, my name is Morgan, and thank you for joining me tonight. See you guys around.